we? I think this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads.
No. I am your father.
The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist.
You're listening to After the Ending, the only film podcast where we tell you what happens after the ending of your favorite films. And now, here are your hosts, Mike Spring and Phil Edwards.
Hello and welcome to After the Ending. I am Mike Spring.
And I'm Phil Edwards.
And we are back for another two-part episode, one episode followed by another episode. I'm not quite sure how you quantify them anymore, Phil.
Just two episodes of pure goodness.
There
Pure
you go.
Gold.
I can always...
Oh, Mike, you're breaking up. Can't hear you. Technical
Nicely,
difficulties, everybody. Here we go.
Yeah, two episodes of pure goodness. That's what we are here to give you technical difficulties. All right.
So, how's everybody doing? Well, Mike sorts that out. I'm doing okay. Hope you're all well. If you watched the England match last night, if you supported Italy, congrats to you. Well done to the England chaps for playing a good game, but it didn't go that way. I can keep hearing echoes of Mike, and hopefully he'll be with us. And
we lost our connection. All right, maybe try again. No, now it smells like a dog in my office.
I think he's back.
Am I back?
Better.
All right.
I can hear you about. Yes, you're back.
All right, about everybody.
That was most strange.
It's a good time. The first time we've really had any kind of actual issue in our recording. So, okay, I'm gonna fill you guys for you video watchers in on a weird situation. My dog just came in from being what?
No, go carry on. No, it's okay.
My dog just came in from being outside in the rain, and she came up to my office to lay down, and she's kind of soaking wet. And it makes me nervous that she's going to do that thing where they go like this, and they shake water everywhere, because I am in an office filled with like comic books and artwork and books and all kinds of things. So if you guys see me like madly dive off camera, it's because I'm attempting to cover up my dog and get everything in here wet. So that's kind of new. But yeah, dog, office full of paper products makes me a little bit nervous.
So get a towel on if you can.
I know, but they're all downstairs and we're live. So I feel like, that would make for bad television, Yeah. And even worse podcasting.
Yeah, for those listening on the podcast, it's all going off tonight.
Right. I'm not editing this either. People on the podcast are just going to be like, this is the worst episode ever. I'm like, yeah, I'm over the editing thing. That's why we do live video now. The podcast
all live all the time.
Yeah, the podcast is a nice way to, that's how we started, and I'll keep it going because I love podcasts, but I'm not spending time editing anymore. Servicing the fans. What can I say? We are all about our fans. So anyway, Phil, why don't you tell people?
Yes, well, this evening's or today's episode, or whenever you listen to it, we're going to be going after the ending of Almost Famous. I had the details there. The 2000 comedy drama film written and directed by Cameron Crowe. And then we'll also be talking about Marvel's Black Widow movie, which hit Disney Plus and cinemas just the end of last week. Both Mike and myself saw it, obviously in different cinemas, because if you're just joining us, Mike's over in America and I'm here in England. And then that'll be our main feature. And if you stay tuned after that, we have the post-credit episode where we'll be doing the top 5 and some recommendations. And Mike, you appear to have gone still again.
There you go. All right. And
so I don't know. Shall I
don't know what's causing this other than the fact that we're having weather.
Bad weather could be.
Okay. I'll do the thing. Yeah. I guess
think
I can try moving to a new locale and seeing if we can get a better internet connection. So let's do this for the video viewers. You're going to get a nice little quick tour of my house. And for the actual, maybe I'll just turn my camera off for a second, but I'll keep talking with my microphone. I don't know if I can turn my camera off. Let's put it this way. I'm not sure how to turn my camera off.
I'll do a rundown of what happened in Almost Famous while you're transitioning to another place. But this is Almost Famous, good. The Cameron Crowe film starring Billy Crudup, Frances McDormand, Patrick Fugit, Jason Lee, Kate Hudson. It's all set in the 70s when we follow child prodigy William Miller, who's introduced to rock and roll music by his sister, played by Zooey Deschanel, even though his mother, played by the wonderful Frances McDormand, she disapproves of these kind of things, but he listens to the music and falls in love with rock and roll, and he ends up becoming, or wanting to become, a music critic, music writer, and a music journalist, and he ends up getting a deal to follow the band Stillwater on behalf of Rolling Stone, because Rolling Stone believe he's a lot older than he actually is. But he joins the band Stillwater and goes on tour with them, and is befriended by Penny Lane, one of the band-aids of Stillwater, and they go traveling. We follow them the whole time. He gets to see the ins and outs of the band, the highs and lows. There's Russell Hammond. He's the charismatic guitarist of the band, played by Billy Crudup, and there's this whole thing going on. He becomes a golden god. I don't want to go into too many details, because if you haven't seen it, it's just great to watch and see it all develop. But we follow William as he writes this story. He gets it to Rolling Stone, but they don't want to publish it because they find out he's not old enough, and also because Russell Hammond will not corroborate all the things in the story. But eventually, Russell is tricked to go to see William Miller after falling out, where they have a talk, a heart-to-heart, and Russell gives the go-ahead for the story, and Rolling Stone eventually publishes it, and that's where we end. But it's a great view into rock and roll history, even though Stillwater aren't real, but it shows what it was like, and it does make you sort of want to wish you were there when you're traveling around. It was all a little bit of a mishmash of a description, because I was waiting for Mike to make sure he was okay, but as we can see, he's joined us a lot clearer. Where are you now? Where are you?
This is my downstairs room. We call it our bar. It's sort of just an extra room off of the dining room, living room. So we've sort of made it into what we call a bar. It's just like an extra room though. So but usually if I'm going to have an internet problem, it'll be while I'm upstairs in my office, or if I'm upstairs because the router is downstairs. So I'm guessing because of the rain and stuff, I don't know. The signal wasn't strong enough to get all the way up there well. So here I am. I'm back. I'm downstairs now. It should be fine. So I apologize for the technical difficulties, everybody.
Well, we made it, Mike, but the picture and sound quality is a lot better here. So fingers crossed that's it for now.
Yeah, I hope so. So, all right. Well, we're way off schedule now because we spent so much time dealing with our technical difficulties. So let's get started with our After the Endings. Well, I guess we should talk about the film, how we feel about it. Phil, how do you feel about Almost Famous?
Oh, I loved it from the first time I saw it. I've seen it many times since. It's just, well, like I was saying, it just feels like a slice of history, even though it's made up history. But the set dressing, the performances, the cast, the way it's filmed, it just has this vibe to it, which it's got like a rock and roll feeling to it, where you're just going along, living for the moment and just seeing what's going on, and it's just a brilliant movie.
Yeah. Well, I agree with you 100%. I love Almost Famous. I think I've forgotten how much I love it. I always remembered oh, I love Almost. It's a great movie. But I just watched it again recently. They just put out a new 4K Ultra HD special edition, all that good stuff, home video version of it. And I watched it again, and I just fell in love with it all over again. I think it's a magical movie. It really does, like you said, sort of capture this era of rock and roll. It's such an amazing cast. It's so well written. And there's so many people that are in Blink and You Missed Them roles, like people who aren't even that famous, but you sort of recognize them from other TV shows and movies. I think it's utterly fantastic. If you haven't seen Almost Famous before, even if you haven't watched it in a long time, I think a lot of people kind of watched it when it came out in 2000, and then were like, that was really good, and then sort of forgot about it. So I highly, highly recommend checking it out again or watching it for the first time. It's just a beautiful film. I love it. So yeah, that Almost Famous, get 2 thumbs up or whatever. I guess I can't say that. It's probably trademarked, but
it's
two opposing digits.
Yeah.
up.
High five. There you go.
Fingers up.
Yeah, but it's also semi-autobiographical by Cameron Crowe because that's how he started. So there's probably that's another reason why it seems so true to life.
Right.
But shall I go first then with my after the ending?
No, why don't you go ahead? Let's hear what you got.
Okay, well, William Stillwater article in Rolling Stone is a hit, and it becomes almost legendary overnight due to its warts and all realness. It actually improves the standing of the band, and there's a huge jump in sales of their albums. It turns out bands and musicians kind of like it as well, and they start contacting William in the hope he will write about them. William keeps his head, though, and picks bands carefully. Each article he writes only increases his fame. While talking to Mark Bolan on the 16th of September 1977 in London, after a lovely meal they had with Gloria Jones, he convinces the T-Rex lead man to take a taxi, and he gets home safely. While interviewing Leonard Skinner on the 19th of October, also 1977, William tells him the tale about his terrible plane trip he had with Stillwater. It panics the Leonard Skinner band members, and they decide to cancel their flight the following day. On occasion, William would bump into Penny. They remained good friends, although William did worry about her. William managed to get an interview with AC/DC's Bon Scott on the 19th of February. William took ill after a dodgy meal, but Scott insisted he take him to the hospital and stayed with him for the next few days. And on the 8th of December 1980, William couldn't believe he was sat talking to John Lennon. They got on famously, and Lennon took William to a recording session. They went for a meal and talked about anything and everything. Yoko Ono joined them. Later that night, when they all returned to the Dakota building for a nightcap, they were shocked to see police standing around outside. They'd arrested a man called Mark David Chapman. Bloody hell, said Lennon. I've seen him knocking about the building. William and John drank well into the night, and one of William's fondest memories was of John Lennon making a full English breakfast for him on the morning of the 9th of December. A few weeks later, Lennon got in touch with William to say he'd written a song about that very night. He still remembered when John Lennon and Stillwater's Russell Hammond made an album together, and thanked William for the introductions in the liner notes. And William's career spanned decades. He made many friends, a few enemies, and had huge amounts of fun. And that's my after the ending.
All right. I love it. I love that he became like the inadvertent savior of rock and roll.
Yeah. Fantastic. I thought it was a nice way to go. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love it. I was worried for a minute there with John Lennon. I thought maybe he was going to take a bullet for him. So I'm glad you didn't go that route.
I was thinking about that, but no, I just thought rather they just end up having this interview which went on too much longer, so he missed a fateful time outside the
right. Yeah, no, I love it. That was fantastic.
Thank you.
We have a comment from Christine, one of our regular viewers, who says she'll have to watch it again. You absolutely will, Christine. Highly recommend it. I think you will really, really enjoy it. It holds up exceptionally well. It's a terrific movie. So enjoy that when you do watch it. All right.
Okay, that was my ending. What about yours, Mike?
Okay, here we go. People Die, but Rock and Roll Never Will, by William Miller. I was 15 when I first went on tour with a rock band. They were called Stillwater, and you might remember them for a string of mid-level chart hits they had in the 70s. You definitely remember their guitarist, Russell Hammond, whose double live album, Hammond Comes Alive, went on to become one of the best-selling albums of all time. Thank you. I was particularly proud of that one. Anyway, but rock and roll isn't about hit songs or album charts. It's about connection. I've toured with and written about more musical acts than I can count in my 72 years on this planet. Led Zeppelin, Pink Floyd, Bruce Springsteen, U2, Wild Stallions, you name it. And you know what they cared the most about? Connecting with people, with their audience, with their loved ones, with the people who had lived life through their music. Took me a while to learn that, and the lesson came from the unlikeliest of places. A girl I knew for only a couple months back in the 1970s. She taught me more about connecting with people than anyone I've ever known. But you know what's ironic? I never reconnected with her. Sure, I've looked her up since then. I see that she led a great life, good career, nice husband, fancy house with a white picket fence and 2.5 kids, the whole 9 yards. But I never reached out to her. And a few days ago, I found out that she passed away peacefully in her sleep. And I cried like I haven't done in a long time, even though I hadn't seen her in over 50 years. Because she changed my life. And I know she was put into my life for a reason. And that was to show me that rock and roll was never about the music, the drugs, the sex, the parties. It's about the people you share it with. And in a career where I've hung out with the greatest musical acts in history, I've shared my life with some pretty special people, let me tell you. So raise a glass, dear reader, and send a toast to that special rock and roller in your life, wherever they may be. Penny Lane, this one's for you. Cheers.
Penny Lane. Oh, that was excellent. I like that.
Thank
Very
you.
good. Yeah.
Thank you. It took me some time with this one. I got to admit, I was struggling trying to figure out where to go with people and stuff like that, and then it hit me to do it in the style of a William Miller article, and it just flowed from there. So
Very good.
I felt pretty happy. Thank you. I appreciate that. Not the most detail-oriented one, a little more, a little more esoteric than my usual endings, but I was happy with it. So
no, I like that. Very good.
All right, very good. So there you go, guys. Those are our endings for Almost Famous. Again, it is out. It's on, I believe it's on one of the streaming services right now. It just came out with a new home video version. Excellent film. Highly recommend it. Go watch it, then listen to our endings again, and raise a glass, do what you want to do. Picture William as the savior of rock and roll. It's all out there.
It's worth checking out the extended version as well. I think that's I think that's better. Although the theatrical release was very good as well, but both of them are worth a watch. Yeah,
for sure. Absolutely. All right, cool. So there we go. That'll wrap up our takes on Almost Famous. Let's move on then to our big topic for the night. Well, I don't know if it's the big topic, but probably something that a lot of people are talking about, right? And that is, of course, our thoughts on the latest Marvel movie. Not just the latest Marvel movie, but the first Marvel movie in almost 2 years.
Yes. Oh, it should have been out about 2 years ago, shouldn't it?
Yeah. Well, it should have been out last year, but if you think about when the last Marvel movie that came out was, it would have been around the end of 2019, I think, right? Because I don't think any Marvel movies came out in 2020. So I figure that makes it about a year and a half, close to 2 years, I think, since we had any Marvel movies.
Yeah. So that's So we are talking about Marvel's Black Widow, of course, which I got to see in the cinema last Friday. My first trip back to the cinema. We discussed Mike's first trip back to the cinema a few weeks back.
Yeah,
a couple of episodes ago. But yes, I saw it. It was good being back in the cinema. I really enjoyed being back in there. It was all they looked after us all very well. There was like lots of spaces and things. It was very comfortable and relaxing. And the film, it was good seeing a film on a big screen again.
For sure. Yeah, I also went to the cinema to see it. And it was fun, like you said, to go to the theaters. So here's what we're going to do. Because we are aware that not everyone has seen Black Widow yet. We don't want to scare anybody away. We're going to start off with just our general thoughts, general opinions on how we liked it and stuff like that, with no spoilers whatsoever. When we get to the part where we want to start to discuss specific things that might be considered spoilery, we will give you a big spoiler warning, and you can turn off the video, or you can turn off the audio, or whatever you want to do, whatever your format you're listening in, so that you don't have anything spoiled for you.
And then, for those on the video, Mike, you could always put a spoiler in the ticker tape thing as well.
That's right. I will do that
when we
get
to that bit. So if you are watching it, you can mute it, and then once the spoiler thing lifts,
there you go. That's a good idea. I'll do that. That way you don't, because you don't want to miss coming back for our second episode. So or anything that we say that's non-spoilery. So starting off with just our more generic or general thoughts about the film. Phil, how did you feel about it? What did you think?
I enjoyed it, although it wasn't great. It started off really strong, I felt, but then as it went on more and more, it became almost. It was a bit too. It wasn't. I don't think it was a fitting send-off or the fitting last film for Black Widow. That's not really a spoiler, because if you've seen Avengers Endgame, you'll know. This, by the way, the film is set after Captain America's Civil War. If you think it would go, it follows on straight after that, really, once you get past the opening credits. But yeah, I really liked it. I thought Scarlett Johansson was really good. Well, I thought all the performances were really good, but it just felt, as it went on, I was just going, it just didn't take it to the next level like I was hoping, especially because it's been such a long time coming to get a Black Widow film. That was my general feeling. We'll dive into it a bit more. What was your general feeling about it?
I think largely the same. I did enjoy it quite a bit. I thought it was a good film. I felt like it was a little light on story. That was kind of my thinking, was like the action sequences were great, and there was a ton of them. I mean, the film is like action palooza. There really did not pull any punches as far as like getting big, detailed action scenes, lots of fight scenes, lots of kind of bigger than big crazy action scenes, all kinds of stuff, and that was great. But it did feel a little light on plot, and I get that it's like it's an action film, it doesn't have to, but I thought for a Marvel film where they've set the bar so high for being able to sort of blend these really cool stories with these action scenes and stuff like that, to me, it did feel a little bit slight.
Yeah.
I appreciate that it wasn't the fate of the world is at stake kind of story.
Yeah, that was good.
It's nice that she wasn't trying to save the whole world, because then it's like, well, where are the Avengers? So I didn't mind that the story was a little smaller in scope. I just feel like there wasn't that much to it. Like, I feel like they forced so much action in, which I don't usually complain about, that they could have given us a little bit more plot. I did also feel that the humor wasn't as prevalent as it is in some Marvel movies, and I thought that I know some people have complained there was too much humor, which I think is weird, because I didn't think there was enough. Maybe I just didn't think it was that funny. They mentioned like David Harbour's character kind of always making jokes and stuff, but like, I don't know, it still felt like the tone of the movie was a lot darker. Not darker, but just more serious than a lot of the other Marvel movies. I don't know if that's because she didn't really have any more fun characters to play off of. There was no Stark, there was no, Thor, those types of characters to give her that sort of back and forth with. I know they tried it a little bit with her like arms dealer guy, the sort of procurement guy who got her some stuff. So not that it didn't have some fun moments, and I'll talk about one or two of those in the spoiler portion, but I just felt Marvel movies are so good at that I guess they've set the bar so high that even a movie that has some humor in it, you still kind of go, well, it's not as funny as a normal Marvel movie is, but I like it overall. I liked it quite a bit. It stopped short of being great. It was really good, but not truly fantastic. Didn't kind of go over the hump.
Yeah, to be honest though, you mentioned that the story was quite small and slight. I mean, it was, but I wish they'd gone a little bit smaller and made it even more realistic, or as realistic as you can go in a Marvel movie. Have it focus more on the spy stuff as well, and I would have liked to have seen a film set way before, before she joined the Avengers and things like that, go way back then. But the story we got, you still could have told it, but I would have liked to have seen a bit more spy stuff instead of going straight to the madcap, crazy drive and chase scenes and things. And it just, it's just a smaller story, and I felt they've gone a bit more serious, to be honest. I would have liked that, because I did feel like, especially David Harbour's thing, I wish he was funny, but it often felt like he was the butt of the joke. I would have liked to have seen a bit more of him, the reason why he was chosen to be the Russian super soldier and things like that.
Yeah, no, I can't argue with any of that. And I think you're right. Like, I also wished I thought we were going to see more of the Red Room stuff and the stuff with the other Black Widows. Like in the trailer, it makes them that they're going to be a bigger part than they really are. So I thought we were going to get more of that stuff. And so I see what like a more serious story might have worked really well if they had committed to that kind of tone, right? If they had gone a lot darker, getting more involved in the spy and the espionage stuff than they did. So that might have made it better. They definitely did go more for sort of the big superhero route, like you said. Yeah, I think as well.
I think also because we finally got to see what happened in Budapest, and also when Loki in the first Avengers movie mentions Drakau's daughter as well, the Legend in Red. We finally got to see what that was, but we only get to see like a glimpse of it, and basically it's just Natasha sitting in the car, which is the main thing. I would have liked, and they discussed it a bit, but I would have liked to actually seen, a sizable flashback involving Clint Barton, Hawkeye. Just so we got that bit of repartee, we can see why, she remembers it differently, because Hawkeye mentions that in the Avengers movie as well, and things like that. It would have been nice to see that. And also, because you mentioned we don't see any of the other Avengers. I'm not saying it needed to, but all the other Marvel films often being like a little cameo or something, which just sort of builds that little bridge, the little connection, which is really always good to see. Not that it needed, because Black Widow and Scarlett Johansson are really good anyway, and great character, and she does it really well. So she's a strong enough character with enough history and stories to have had an epic movie. Just unfortunately, I didn't think this one was it. I wonder if we'd had the same film, the exact same film, but about 5 or 6 years ago, whenever just after the Winter Soldier, would it have hit a lot different, even if it was exactly the same?
Yeah, and also, you have to wonder about the effect also. We'd had it sooner without the events of Avengers Endgame happening before this, because it does sort of like, I feel like, not lessen the impact per se, but it is sort of like, well, I'm never a big fan of prequels and stuff like that. Like, I think I would have liked it maybe more if this had come out in sequence, chronologically, story-wise. I think it maybe would have had a better, it would have felt a little more connected or a little more fresh. I'm not sure which, it
removes the sense of peril for the character when you know what happens to them in a later film.
Right.
So you can go, they're not gonna die anyway in most of the Marvel films and things like that. But when the definite end, you're still going, well, yeah, that fall should definitely have killed him. But no, it's not going to.
Right. I agree. I do think it removes some of the stakes from the proceedings. So, but all right. Well, that's so we both liked it. I think that's fair. Not necessarily loved it, but liked it. Let's let me go ahead. I'm gonna adjust the ticker real quick. I'm gonna put in a note about spoilers. We're gonna get into some spoilery stuff here, not for very long, just a little bit. And we'll talk about just some specific issues or things we liked or whatnot about the film. We will, so starting now. So if you're not interested in hearing these spoilers, if you haven't seen Black Widow yet, now is a good time to either mute your device, whatever you're watching or listening on, or come back in about 5 minutes or so. So here we go. Spoiler territory. Okay, Phil, is there anything you want to discuss that was more spoilery? I have one or two things.
Well, I find it mad that we had like a 2-hour film just to find out the origin of Natasha's vest. Avengers Infinity War. It seemed a bit extreme. No, I liked the things I did like. I liked the post-credit sequence, and it's the fact it tied it in with the Disney Plus TV shows, in particular Falcon and the Winter Soldier, by seeing the Seinfeld woman's character.
Yeah, Julia Louis-Dreyfus playing.
I always forget her name.
Contessa Valentina.
I always like. She's a good character, and I like seeing that.
Mm-hmm.
It was good seeing Taskmaster, but I wish it'd be more like Taskmaster from the comics and the Spider-Man video game. Because he's a really good character, always talking and witty, and I'm basically going, whatever you can do, I can do better, right? Kind of stuff. Yeah. But hopefully we'll come back to that at some point. What else? And what about you? While I ever think about something.
I really loved the post-credit sequence. I thought it was great. I thought it really did a nice job of setting up what I'm assuming is going to be something in the Hawkeye TV series on Disney Plus. Or something in a future movie, who knows what. I definitely agree with Taskmaster. I'm a huge Taskmaster fan from the comics, actually. I love that character. I always have since I was like a kid. And I thought Taskmaster looked great in the film, and the action scenes with him, awesome. Well, I guess I can say this is a spoiler territory. So she looked great in the film, and I thought that the action scenes with Taskmaster were fantastic. But I agree with you. I wish they had kind of capitalized more on the character, the real character, and that's a Hollywood thing. But I don't feel like that was a necessary change per se. I think one of my big problems with the film, and it's not ultimately a huge problem, but they set up this backstory where Natasha, murders this guy and takes out his kid, or tries to murder this guy and takes out his kid, his little girl, while doing it, fully knowing that his little girl is in the building. And I understand that they were trying to set up that, hey, she was a different person back then. She was this ruthless spy. She was in the Red Room and all that stuff. But she had to do that in order to defect to S.H.I.E.L.D., is the way they set it up.
Yeah, that's true, yeah.
It's hard for me to sympathize with a character who will willingly murder a child, even if it's your way of getting out of this bad situation. I also don't think, would S.H.I.E.L.D. really want a child murderer in their ranks? Like, okay, so in order to prove you're not a bad guy anymore, all you have to do is kill an innocent kid, and then we'll take you in.
Unless their contact was one of the Hydra S.H.I.E.L.D. agents, but it would have been nice if they'd shown that. It could have been, we could have just seen somebody who we knew, the bald guy with the glasses. Sitwell, yeah. He'd been the contact.
Even that would have been a bit of a stretch, in my opinion. I have a hard time when my heroes go a little too far over the edge in circumstances that I don't think are really worth it. Like she could have just assassinated him later. Do you know what I mean? Like, she could have come back the next day and blown up his building or something without his little girl there, and that would have been fine. Like, so to me, it wasn't like an inescapable situation. Like, if you're going to be a hero that I'm going to look up to and enjoy watching the films, and you're going to kill a kid, it has to be in a situation that is so inescapable that you have no choice. And then you should be racked with guilt over it, which I guess she was a little bit, but that for me was a misstep. I didn't really like that. I was like, I would have liked to have seen
like Ray Winston's character, the bad guy. I would have liked to have known how he did survive.
Right.
And like, we see his daughter's face; she was burnt and damaged, but he didn't seem to have anything. It would have been, if he'd been scarred as well, would have been great.
Right. Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's. I mean, it's just little touches like that which would just suddenly in your subconscious, you go, oh yeah, that makes sense to do that. Also, the fact it is his daughter in the Taskmaster suit. I wish they just made her a new character or somebody else. I mean, there's no need to tease Taskmaster and then do that. Although they did it with Mandarin and a few other things, don't they? These Marvel seem to like now and again do it.
Mandarin was great because Mandarin
it was funny
character to begin with. Like,
yeah.
let's be honest, like some bearded Asian dude with 10 rings on his fingers just isn't that scary in a movie setting. Do you know what I mean? So I like to do with him. If you're going to do something different like that, find a clever or interesting way to do it, you know, versus sort of just taking an interesting character and making them slightly less interesting by taking away their ability to talk. You know, that to me isn't really a big enough difference to warrant, you know, the change. So, you know, I did like, though, speaking of the humor, I did love the pose joke.
That was brilliant. Yeah, the fact that Florence Pugh's just constantly taking the mickey out of Natasha.
Yeah. Why you do the pose? And she's like, "What pose?" Like that was great. I thought that was hysterical.
Gets down and does it in the middle of the garage as well, and just flicking her hair. Yeah.
Right. I thought that was great, and I that's the kind of stuff I wanted more of. Right, like that's the kind of humor that I would have liked more of if you're going to go in that direction rather than a more serious direction. But love Florence Pugh. I've been a fan of hers for a few years now. She's fantastic. I thought she was great in it. You know. But that was definitely something I enjoyed. But I'm trying to think if there was anything else specific that I really...
I really like the opening as well when we see the young Natasha and Ilana.
Yeah.
And David Harbour and Rachel Weisz as the parents. That was really good. I mean, I would have happily watched like more of them, getting away and things like that.
Right. Again, the spy stuff, right? More about that whole thing of them living kind of undercover, you know, in the US and stuff. I do agree that there could have been a much richer story if they had dived into the spy stuff more than they did.
They could have had a real different feel to it with focusing on the spy aspect.
Right.
Because her background is a lot different from most of the other Avengers.
Yeah, we've never really delved into it in the movies. Well, they have in the comics, but not in the movies. So I agree. This could have been more of not even a full origin story, but it would have been nice to see her doing some actual like spy work as opposed to just beating the crap out of everybody. Like it would have been nice to have kind of a nice like stealth sequence in there somewhere, you know, or things like that. They had a little bit at the end with the whole, you know, when they snuck onto it and they were wearing the masks and stuff, which is not technology we've seen in the Marvel Universe before, but whatever, because I'm sure it exists. If they can have helicarriers, why not? You know. But yeah, I think I would have liked to see some more of that rather than just one more fight sequence of people beating the crap out of each other, you know?
Yeah. That was another thing as well about the fight sequences. I don't think they were as good as previous Marvel films as well. And considering, because Natasha she's human, she's like highly trained and everything, but like fighting is her, she's like one of the top hand-to-hand combatants in the Marvel Universe. It would have been, I wish they'd been a little bit clearer. There was a few times when it was almost like Bourne shaky cam, and the fight with the widows, the other widows at the end, the camera work just seemed a bit all over the place, didn't quite make it as clear as it could have been. And especially when some of the fight scenes we've seen in previous Marvel films have been top notch.
Right.
I felt a little bit let down. It was still good, and as you said, there was lots of great action in there, but it just felt some of them, we didn't have one definitive fight scene which made me go, "Oh wow, did you see that? I can't wait to watch that again." Yeah.
I totally get what you're saying.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's that'll wrap up our spoiler portion of the conversation, and probably start to wrap us up. I think overall, then we were pretty much in agreement that, you know, again, liked the film, didn't love the film, but thought it was good. Like I enjoyed it, and you know, maybe another viewing I've found with some of the Marvel movies. I remember with Age of Ultron, I was kind of disappointed when that came out, and then I watched it again a couple of years ago, and I thought it was just phenomenal. Like I think maybe sometimes when your expectations are lowered, you may also have a different opinion. So maybe I'll rewatch Black Widow in a year or two, and I'll have a different opinion. Maybe I will love it. I certainly enjoyed it, so I will revisit it at some point in the future, even if it wasn't an A+ Marvel movie. I'd still give it a B or a B+. So.
Yeah, you know. That's a good point about rewatching, because I've been watching all the Marvel films in chronological order.
Yeah, we're getting ready to do that too.
Yeah, they are so much better doing it this way. The ones that I sort of going, well, I've really improved, often because you've seen what's gone before and what's coming after. So I wonder if we do that again at some point in the future, of watching Black Widow straight after Winter Soldier will improve it. But we'll have to wait and see, because that's going to be a while to get to do that.
So definitely still worth watching. I do think if you have the chance to go see it on the big screen, there is a lot of action in it, and it looks really good on the big screen. So if you have the chance, definitely go check it out. But yeah, so a recommended viewing experience, maybe not highly recommended, but definitely recommended, I think, is how we would put it.
That's right.
All right, cool. So what we're going to do then is we're going to wrap up this episode. If you are watching after the fact or listening to the podcast, that's going to wrap us up for this week. If you are watching live, please come back in about 2 minutes because we're going to wrap this up and then we'll start our very next episode right away. So we're going to be back on this channel live in just a minute or two. We'll wrap this up and then we'll go launch into our next episode. We're going to do our top 5 list, which is a fun one. We're going to do our ATE recommends. We'll have a good time. So don't go anywhere if you're a live viewer. If you're watching or listening after the fact, then you can go wherever you'd like. It sounded kind of rude. I didn't mean it to.
Yeah. If you're watching it live, go onto YouTube, watch a couple of commercials, and we'll be right back after.
Right, exactly. All right, so that's going to do it for us. So thank you, everybody, for watching and listening. As always, we appreciate it. I'm Mike Spring.
And I'm Phil Edwards.
And we'll see you next time.
After the ending.